The views and opinions expressed on Real Talk with Horace Sheffield are not those of WADL TV 38 or Adele Broadcasting Corporation.
Giving you real talk, real talk, real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit, This is real talk, real talk, real talk. Real issues straight from the heart, Giving you real talk, real talk, real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit, This is real talk, real talk, real talk.
All right, welcome to another edition of Real Talk. I'm Reverend Horace Sheffield, the third WADL TV Detroit. Of course, it's my capable, able, lovely host, Miss Deanna Solomon. We've got a great show for you, talking about some things that can help our young folks. So many people talk about young people being out of control, but there's some folks who are trying to control young folks. Miss Solomon, why don't you introduce our guests?
Yes. So thank you, Reverend Sheffield. Today we have joining us Miss Lynda White. She is the founder and the director of the ARK Non Violence Program. It is a nonprofit, and your sole mission, based on what I know and what I've seen and heard from others, is to be proactive in nonviolence with youth in the Metro Detroit area.
Exactly.
So, tell us a little bit about not only the ARK Foundation, but where did you come up with this concept, this idea, and what motivated you to even begin working with young people in regards to nonviolence prevention?
Well, as an attorney in the Wayne County Juvenile Court System and working with criminal defendants in the adult court system, I've seen a lot of young people come through the system who just weren't equipped to handle the anger issues that they had or the violence issues that they had or whatever was plaguing them in their homes and within their community. I worked with the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office as an assistant prosecuting attorney, and what I noticed was that a lot of the children that I worked with in juvenile court years prior were now adults coming through the system.
Okay.
And that's what led me to take a proactive role rather than a reactionary position that I had with the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office.
So you've seen students or young people that probably were students, should have been students, that just never left the system or kept returning to the system?
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. There was a high rate of recidivism.
So they started out basically as juvenile offenders and then subsequently became adult offenders.
That's true.
I guess my question is, and there's probably a host of folks like that, what is it that you do that can put a wedge or an embargo or a dam that keeps that from happening?
Well, 10 years ago, I know that we've had a lot of violence occurring recently within the community, but 10 years ago, when I noticed that there was this same type of peak that was occurring, I decided that we were going to try to intervene. We were going to try to cut off this issue by providing young people with the tools that we felt that they need to succeed. And one of those tools is to learn how to manage anger. And everybody gets angry. Adults are angry, children are angry. We all have to learn at some point how to get a hold of it, how to turn that into something productive. I was angry in 2002 when the ARK Non-Violence Program began because of the babies that were being killed, babies being shot. 2 years old, 5 years old, 14 years old, 20 years old, and they should be living and being productive members of society. So rather than internalizing that anger or lashing out because of it, which is what some people end up doing when they take a gun and decide to shoot someone out of anger, I started the program, the ARK Non-Violence Program. So we intervene at the 5th grade level, and we work with them for 10 weeks at a time, and we expose them to different areas within the community, different places within the community where they can meet people who have been angry, who have made mistakes, some of them, especially in the criminal justice system, and they've turned their lives around.
Sure.
So in the 5th grade, roughly, how old are those students?
10 years old.
10 years old. Okay, so you're starting with them at 10 years old. What are at least two things that you can tell a 10-year-old? Because I have a 10-year-old. And what two things can you tell a 10-year-old to begin, to get them to begin managing their anger, their self?
Okay, one thing that we tell all of our students, regardless of what age they are, is to remember their goal. And we start with goal setting. What are your goals? What is it that you see yourself doing in the next 10 years, in the next 5 years? next year, this time, what do you see yourself accomplishing? And as we progress through the program and teach them breathing exercises and different cooperation skills, we ask them to keep that goal in mind. Now, you don't want to do something that's going to
You don't want to
prevent
sacrifice your goal from some senseless act
that's going to blow over, and you won't even remember in a week what it is that you were upset
about. I tell people, see the end from the beginning. Before we get further along, because we don't have a certain amount of time, is the program open to the public?
The program is open to the public.
And how do people reach you if they have a 10-year-old who is wreaking terror and havoc in their home?
Well, one way they can reach me is...
They're mad as hell, and they tear this place up.
It's by calling our office, which is 313-587-9762.
Real slowly.
313-587-9762.
Right. And one of the problems I see, by the way, is, and I've seen it in church, that, the kid has got anger, and then the mom and dad, they bite right into it, and, they're not climbing the stairway to heaven. They're going down a slope to hell. Do you have to work with other folk beside that person who may be actually contributing to that child's anger?
You know what, Reverend Sheffield, we are so open to working with other folk, especially the parents. That is absolutely essential. Unfortunately, within some of the schools that we operate in, we are not, we don't mandate that the parents be involved. Because if we mandated that, then we wouldn't have the children in many cases. So we invite the parents to come. We would love to show them some of the skills that we're teaching their children, because we've experienced children going home and trying to teach these skills to their parents and receiving backlash because of it. So we want the parents to come in. We invite them to do that. We welcome it. It doesn't always happen.
Give us an example of some of your students, or one of your students that you got in the very beginning, let's say at 10, and progressed through the 10-week program, and is now...
We only have about 30 seconds because we want to give out the number again so people can actually participate. But give us an example of some transformative effect that your anger management has had.
My poster child is Tyrone Chandler, who actually is now in college, and he was in the very first program that we had. He was a little older than 10. He was 12 years old, and he was able to internalize a lot of what we were teaching, and it didn't just affect him. He was able to teach other students within his environment what he had learned through the ARK Non Violence Program.
What's your phone number one more time?
313-587-9762.
One more time, real slow.
313-587-9762.
All right, I'm mad, but I'll be right back.
Real talk, real talk, real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit. This is real talk, real talk, real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit.
Welcome back to Real Talk. I'm Reverend Horace Sheffield III, and of course is the dynamic Deanna Solomon, who has added to my ratings and made folks watch my show that didn't want to before. But we are blessed to have Ifetayo Beverly Johnson, who's Executive Director of United Health Organization, who has a couple of major life-altering programs. But I wanted to say, as I found out in between segments, that she is the daughter of Dr. Butler, who pastored at Concord. Is that Concord? New Calvary on Concord Street. Of course, went to Union Seminary, was known as Coleman Young's pastor. Church that owns a cemetery, warehouses, and all kinds of other economic activity, but a brilliant, well-educated African-American theologian, well-known across this country. And, of course, he's passed on, so I wanted to pay my respects to him. When I was in my second year of seminary, when he found out that I was attending Union Seminary, he invited me to come preach. Not only did he invite me to come preach, Ms. Solomon, he wrote me a 3-page letter analyzing my exegetical analysis of the text, my sits and Laban, my redaction and traditional historical analysis of the text. So I knew he had the higher forms of biblical criticism. Yes, but welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Great man. Certainly I know you're proud that he was your dad.
Loved him dearly.
Absolutely. Ms. Solomon, why don't you take us through some of the great work that she's doing, and and that our viewers hear.
Absolutely. I know, Ms. Johnson, again, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'd like to hear and share also with our viewers some of your background. I know that most recently you served for the First Lady, Michelle Obama, on her health care task force. Can you give us some information on that?
I was blessed to be part of a group that was called in to do some work on the Let's Move campaign, specifically in how it can be used in churches and community organizations. We did some work to develop the packages that could be used by those churches to improve the health and quality of our young people, especially in the areas of childhood obesity prevention and nutrition. I've been invited to do a couple of presentations in D.C. over the last year, and it's been a good year. It's been
Can I chime in there real quick? I think it's important for people to know the extent to which childhood obesity, when we talk about it in adults, and I'm very interested, I'm going to put you on the spot to know to some degree without having the specific numbers, how grave an issue that is and maybe some of the things that contribute to it?
We're on the verge of an epidemic.
Right.
We really are. We are looking at our children. The reason why we're starting at age 6 is because it's too late by the time we get to middle school. We have to start a lot earlier. And not only do we have to start with the children, we have to start with the parents of the children, because the kids aren't the ones who go to the grocery store and buy the chips and the pop.
Right.
And a lot of those children are having chips and Pepsi for breakfast. So we're trying to give both the children a desire for a different kind of food, as well as the parents a desire to provide a different kind of food, and exercise as well.
But is it out of hand? I mean, we look around and we see kids that just are inordinately large to be so young. And I don't know if it's pops and chips, I don't know if it's McDonald's or it's fast food or what it is.
I'll tell you, one of the things that really caught my attention was about 10 years ago, I read a piece from the Department of Health in Michigan that said that this is going to be the first generation where they expect 1 out of 2 children to die prematurely from preventable causes, primarily from things like smoking, lack of exercise, poor nutrition, and children are now getting what we used to consider adult diseases in a very prevalent way.
Yeah, diabetes. I mean, at a very early age.
We found
and by the way, it's not juvenile diabetes, which people are born with. It's adult onset or type 2 diabetes at 12, 10, 11 years of age.
6.
Yeah.
We actually found several 6-year-olds when we did testing who are hypertensive.
Right.
Things that
That's
you just
from
wouldn't.
salt, sodium consumption.
All kinds of things. A lot of what we're finding is that parents who are in ill health, it actually changes genetically. The parent, and it passes to the child genetically. So in addition to all the environmental things, there are a lot of genetic things that are happening.
Healthy parents lead to healthy children.
Healthy parents do lead to healthy children. You need that.
Thanks for bringing that up. You mentioned her involvement with Michelle Obama, and there's some commercials that are running now that talk about health. That's one of my pet projects. I developed a slogan that Dave called "Death Can Wait." I mean, it's inevitable we're going to die, but in the African American community, we seem to expedite that, and we need to learn how to make death wait.
Exactly.
By doing. And first of all, black men don't get screened for prostrate.
Yes.
I know 2 men that I love dearly that died that could have been here had they simply gone and been tested.
And that's what we do with Project Healthy Living.
Right.
Also, if you get an opportunity, you should come by the Detroit Leadership Academy, where we got a grant from Johnson & Johnson to actually do a program for children in that elementary school on childhood obesity and nutrition.
Okay.
So we are taking over the whole school and helping that whole school look at nutrition and diabetes differently. Sure. But when we talk about Project Healthy Living, our slogan is, it's personal.
Right.
Because it really is. We have all kinds of different testing that we provide that you can't get elsewhere. And
this is for the uninsured as
free
well?
and low cost. But you know what's interesting is the people who come and use our services the most have excellent insurance, because they know that they can't get the services that we provide through their physician until they're displaying symptoms.
Until there's something
and at
that's
that
wrong.
point, something's really wrong.
Yeah.
People are dying from it, and then they'll test you to see what you have.
See, and I don't want to take over the show, but this is one thing that I've got to say that I have learned, if I've learned anything about any of this. A dear friend of mine from my church recently passed, one of my dear friends, and certainly Ms. Solomon knows about it. My college roommate who played football with me in college, went blind before he dealt with his diabetes, and then he was dead shortly after that, is that you've got to find out what's wrong. And a lot of this stuff is preventable. Diet and exercise and other kinds of things can address most of these maladies if you are attentive. And so anyway, I just want to put that out because, sometimes people think it's just, inevitable. It's not inevitable. Some of this stuff is preventable.
Well, one of the things that's great about Project Healthy Living is it gives you a benchmark. It says, if I know today where I am and I come back in a year and I take the test again, I can see what's happening. I know for myself, I saw my cholesterol start to creep up. I didn't have to wait for it to get over the top before I made some changes.
Well, she's smiling because I've lost 56 pounds.
Oh,
and my cholesterol, for the first time since I was 16, is 143. I have a naturally elevated cholesterol. My mother died at 43 with a heart attack. So my sisters and I have all had high cholesterol. I mean, regardless of diet. But my cholesterol has consistently been down to 143. I'm off of almost 3/4 of all my diabetes medicine, my blood pressure medicine. So, but I don't want to talk about me. We're talking about Project Healthy Living.
Project Healthy Living.
Which is what this is all about. That this stuff is reversible.
Well, what I'd like you to do is come out to one of the sites and get tested.
I'll do that.
And let us take you through all the tests. We've got a number of different kinds of tests that are there. Everything from EKGs and echocardiograms. We do blood pressure. We do vision, hearing, body composition, pulse oximetry. It's just, we have a 26...
Body composition is when you determine how much fat to muscle, right?
Yes.
Well, we got to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to let Ms. Solomon ask some questions because I'm absolutely fascinated. This is Real Talk. I'm Reverend Sheffield. She's Deanna. Solomon. We'll be right back after this.
Real talk, real talk, real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit. Detroit. This is real talk, real talk, real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit. Detroit. This is
real. All right, welcome back. We're talking about healthy living, and by the way, it's your choice. You can do it. It may have taken you a lifetime to get where you are, but if you make a decision today, you can turn that around in a short amount of time. Ms. Solomon.
Yes, thank you. Reverend Sheffield, I know, and thank you so much, Ms. Johnson, for all the work you're doing in the community. When you said earlier, you talked about the children that you're helping through Project Healthy Living, understanding that they are our greatest asset here in the city of Detroit, and we need to keep them healthy. How is Project Healthy Living actually connecting with young people and their families in the community? What programs do you have outside of your facility, or is your facility there and we come to you?
No, we actually are very virtual.
Okay.
We go out into the community. We go to places where people are comfortable going. We go to churches, we go to schools, we go to clinics, we go to malls, any place where someone's comfortable going. We will bring in all the equipment, we set up, and we do the screening there. So we try to make it easy for people to get to us. We go all over Southeast Michigan, 9 to 10 counties, and we'll do about probably about 40 sites in the spring between March and May.
Okay, all right. And so if my church, for example, wanted to reach out to Project Healthy Living and get you into our home, into our church family home, and get some checkups going, how would we go about doing that?
Let me give you 3 ways to reach me.
Okay.
You can call us on our hotline, which runs between 10 and 3 on Monday through Friday. That number is 313-531-9108. Okay. You can contact us through email at projecthealth@comcast.net. That's projecthealth@comcast.net. Or you can go to our website, which is projecthealthyliving.net, and you'll find links there. If you want to be an exhibitor at our sites, we provide free tables for any nonprofit that wants to come in. If you want to help sponsor some of the sites, we have links there. If you'd like to be a site and have us come out to your location, you can click on. If you want to volunteer to help out,
I saw that.
Go to. If you want to pre-register, you can. We have a fast link, a fast track link there that you can actually pre-register for a site that you want to go to and have everything ready when you get there. We have a number of different things on that site. We try and make it our portal to everything that we do. Including information about the flu, which flu season is coming,
It
and
is.
folks need to know where they can go to get flu shots. That's very important.
Do you provide flu shots?
We have them at some of our sites. We work in conjunction with Wayne County and the City of Detroit to provide them. And also we'll put out other places where folks can go to find the flu shots. But we are doing something through Emory and the CDC to help.
I recently learned that an inordinate proportion of students in the Detroit public schools have been exposed to some form of lead poisoning.
Yes.
The vast majority of these students, which we know affects aggression and the ability to concentrate.
Yes.
Do you do anything in that area? Because I don't really see an awful lot being done to address that.
At some of our youth sites, we will have the City of Detroit come out and they do lead testing as one of our services that we offer.
Yeah.
But we don't do it
Can I ask you a personal question?
Surely.
Do you feel, given the numbers of young folks, and I've heard as high as 7% of the kids in Detroit public schools have some form of it, that enough is being done to address it?
No.
Or is, and I guess, I know it's not,
No.
but my question is it because parents and others are not responding, or there's not enough information out there about it?
I think a lot of folks don't know
Right.
that the lead in their house, the paint in their house could be deadly to their children, that the screens that are on their windows can pass lead in. There are just so many ways that, especially in a city that's as old as Detroit, that lead can get into the system. And
Yeah, and I've come to the conclusion, working in schools, that some of the aggression, I had a white couple on this show, by the way, that revealed that 70-some% of kids in Detroit public schools have some form, mild or otherwise, of lead poisoning, and that the number one symptom is aggression. So you see how kids act. And so I just want to point that out. Maybe that's something, we can work on together, because it needs to be known, and they need to be tested.
And I'll tell you another thing that was a major eye-opener for me this year. I had 2 new tests that we did. One was vitamin D. And we discovered that almost 80 to 90% of the people we test in Michigan are vitamin D deficient, which leads to all kinds of different diseases.
And where do we get vitamin D from?
Sunlight,
Okay.
sunlight, the vitamin D milk, different kinds of foods that we eat. We're eating the wrong things.
You got me on the roll now. And
Yeah.
I'm going to stop with this and let Ms. Simon take over. Asthma. I've never known so many people to be afflicted with asthma. Is that environmental?
It can be, yes.
Okay.
It can be
So all
carried
these
by.
abandoned buildings and uncut grass could be contributing to asthma.
Yes. And one of the tests we do is pulmonary function, so that people can come in and have their lungs tested.
I think people need to know more about your organization, because you test for everything.
We try hard.
Yeah. What's that number one more time?
313-531-9108.
Okay. Solomon?
Ms. Johnson, I know you have an exciting program coming up this fall in regards to 9/11.
Yes. Actually, it'll be on 9/16.
Okay.
But we're working with the police department and the fire department for us to take care of Detroit's finest, our first responders.
Okay.
Because they take care of everybody except themselves. And they've had a number of deaths that are not related to the job, but related to things like diabetes, cancer, hypertension, preventable causes. So we're going to take Project Healthy Living into one of the precincts so that we can test some of the first responders. And we're looking for folks to help us with that.
Okay, so you need volunteers to
Need
help
volunteers,
you
need
support our
sponsors
first
to help us
responders.
do that, because we do free and very low-cost health screenings. One of our most popular one is what we call a 26-profile blood panel. It tests for 26 different items, things like glucose, triglycerides, albumin, thyroid, just a whole list of things that you can get all in one test. Usually it runs close to $800 in your doctor's office. We usually do it for $50. But we're still trying to find folks to help us reduce that cost even more, so we can provide those to those first responders at little or no cost, if at all possible, and their families, because they've taken care of us. We need to take care of them.
Okay, so you're looking for donations as well through your website.
Donations, help. We don't turn down anything but our collar, as we say.
Okay.
So we'd love to have them come in.
Okay. Well, I know in addition to your first responders event, you also have a great spring lineup of activities. Can you tell us a little bit more of that so we know what to look forward to after the flu season?
Well, I'm really excited about it because we actually had a year where we had to not run in the spring, and so we're back in full force, and everyone's excited about it. This year we'll probably top out at about 40 some odd sites.
Wow.
We have about 20,
Are those sites all posted on your website?
We have about 25 of them that are up there now.
Oh, okay.
And so they can go on the website, they can see who's already up there. If you want to become one, again, you can do that on the website. But you can see where we'll be and the kind of services we'll offer and information about all the different tests.
Okay. I think this is actually a good opportunity with visiting the Project Healthy website for our viewers to actually be engaged in their community. And when people want to know how they can help, this is how you can help. You can go online and volunteer with Project Healthy Living right in your community and help save a life.
Yeah.
So.
Literally.
And the life you save may be your own.
Literally.
And we want to thank you so much. We love giving out this information for you. This is information that can save someone else's life as well as yours. We'll be back next week.
Real issues straight from the heart. I'm giving you real talk. Real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit. This is real talk. This is real talk. Real issues straight from the heart. I'm giving you real talk. Come take a walk down this path through Detroit. This is real talk. This is real talk. Uncut for the people of Detroit who got an opinion that they want to voice. I'ma give them real talk. Real issues, real topics, real people address.